Let's get something went wrong. We are live. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, guys, we're featuring my friend, my colleague, and my friend. His name is Clarence. Everybody say hi. Okay, guys. So now today, we're gonna be talking about PPE, ne? And general questions about PPE that Clarence here, he's got nothing to do with safety. He just works on site, but he works in a different department. So today he's just quizzing me, quick quiz. Yeah, we did draw up a few questions, prepping a bit, but yeah. So yeah, Clarence, are you ready?
Yeah, just gonna ask you some few questions about PPE, just to get my knowledge checking up. What does PPE stands for?
What does PPE stand for, guys? PPE stands for personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment.
Oh, PPE. Okay, makes sense. And I've also heard someone talking about typical PPE. What's that?
Like, what is typical PPE, right?
Yeah.
So typical PPE, I would say, in my opinion, it's typical. When I think of the word PPE, the first thing that comes to my mind is reflector and overalls and hard hat, right? You guys see me wearing this hat right now. This is definitely not typical because it is job specific, and you don't find this a lot on different sites that you go to. It's actually literally job specific. So typical PPE would be PPE that is across all boards, that is for everybody. For example, a reflector is typical because you have to wear a reflector every single time you come to site, regardless of whether you're an employee, a visitor, a worker, a manager, or whatever. You have to wear a reflector when you come to site. Right.
So that's typical.
It's typical, including safety shoes. Safety shoes or closed shoes. Okay, so closed shoes, they are definitely not a PPE. The PPE is safety shoes with a steel toe cap, right? But it happens that sometimes a visitor comes to site and they do not have safety shoes. So as long as they have closed shoes, that will fall, and that will be correct. It's acceptable, because remember, we have to be reasonably practicable.
So that's still safe.
It's still safe because at least they don't get injured from, like, if you've got glass on site or these thorns on site or anything that could come into sandals. When you wear the sandals and you walk into the bush, anything can literally cover you.
Okay. And tell me, how do I know this is the right PPE for me?
How do I know this is the right PPE for me? Well, it will depend on the jobs that you're doing, guys. It depends on the job that you're doing. Okay. So, like, yeah, it'll depend on the job that you're doing, Clarence.
Okay. So let's talk about me. I'm always inside the office, but I'm on site.
Yes.
So what's correct, or how do I know this is the right PPE for me?
So because you are always in the office, right? It means that in your case, you are not exposed to a lot of hazards. You are exposed maybe to minimum the least hazards found on a construction site. So meaning that for you, the meaning that for you, the PPE that will be required will be like a reflector, because you do go on site every now and then. He does go on site. And safety shoes, because he does go on site every now and then. And safety shoes and a reflector, basically, because he goes on site every now and then.
Meaning, if let's say I have a client who wants to come on site for a meeting, same PPE that I'm wearing.
The same PPE that you're going to be wearing, because now he's also coming to the office, the site office, and he's exposed to the least amount of hazards. So I want to actually talk about like people now that are working, right? Like let's just talk about people that are working on site. How do they know what kind of PPE they will need? For example, somebody who's a bricklayer, the difference between somebody who's bricklaying and somebody who's grinding, they do not require the same PPE. So depending on your hazards, it will tell you the types of PPE that will be good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm bricklaying. If I'm bricklaying, means that pinches and nicks are the biggest hazards that are like that are facing me. So meaning that I have to get thicker gloves. Okay.
Okay.
But these gloves now, these are going to be gloves for mixing and for holding your trussels, and maybe also for putting your brick and cement. But then I know there are some in between tasks and in between activities within bricklaying that some bricklayers complain that they cannot be wearing gloves when they are doing these. Remember, guys, you just need to explain to the employee that the gloves are actually for your good and they are for to protect you more than anything. So it would be wise to advise the guys to actually wear the gloves and not have all these types of excuses.
Okay.
And then I made another example with the grinder. A person who's using a grinder, he is also exposed to different types of hazards now. For example, his hazards include sparks in the atmosphere, either in the eyes or on his clothes. But there's fire sparks. There is a chance of injuring your body, like bodily injuries with the machine.
Well, you can grind yourself or cut yourself.
Grind yourself,
Okay.
exactly. So that type of hazards already tells you that already one, I need a eye goggles. Two, I need to wear hand gloves. And remember, the hand gloves that I'm going to use now for using the grinder are going to be hand gloves that have a good grip, because I need to have a good grip on my grinder to make sure that it doesn't get away. Because remember, the grinder, it's quite a heavy thing. So yeah.
Okay.
That's how you're going to know.
Well, thank you so much, Amu, for this little knowledge.
Thank you, Clarence. Thank you, Clarence, and thank you everybody for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two about where are you going? Okay, hope you learned a thing or two.
Tyler, Amu.